Hello guys, welcome to our channel Learn with Rahul. So today we are going to talk about Gulliver's Travels. So let's start. Before I start, I have a request for you guys. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon. Thank you. Gulliver's Travels, or Travels into several remote nations of the world, in four parts by Lemuel Gulliver, first a surgeon and then a captain of several ships, which is the full title, is a prose satire by Irish writer and clergyman Jonathan Swift. That is both a satire on human nature and the traveller's tales, literary subgenre. It is Swift's best known full-length work and a classical of English literature. He himself claimed that he wrote Gulliver's Travels to vex the world rather than divert it. Now let's talk about Jonathan Swift. Jonathan Swift, 30 November 1667 to 19 October 1745, was an Anglo-Irish satirist, essayist, political pamphleteer, first for the Whigs and then for the Tories, poet and cleric who became Dean of St. Patrick's Cathedral, Dublin. So let's start Gulliver's Travels plot. There are four parts. Part 1, A Voyage to Lilliput, 4th May 1699 to 13 April 1702. The travel begins with a short preamble in which Lemuel Gulliver gives a brief outline of his life and history before his voyages. During his first voyage, Gulliver is washed ashore after a shipwreck and finds himself a prisoner of a race of tiny people less than 6 inches tall who are inhabitants of this island country of Lilliput. After giving assurances of his good behavior, he is given a residence in Lilliput and becomes a favorite of the Lilliput royal court. He is also given permission by the king of Lilliput go around the city on condition that he must not harm any subjects. At first, the Lilliputians are hospitable to Gulliver, but they are also wary of the threat that his size poses to them. The Lilliputians reveal themselves to be a people who put great emphasis on tribal matters, for example, which end of an egg a person cracks becomes the basis of a deep political rift within that nation. They are a people who revel in displays of authority and performances of power. Gulliver assists the Lilliputians to subdue their neighbors and Blefuscudians by stealing their fleet. However, he refuses to reduce the island nation of Blefuscu to a province of Lilliput, displacing the king and the royal court. Gulliver is charged with treason for, among other crimes, urinating in the capital. Though he was putting out a fire, he is convicted and sentenced to be blinded with the assistance of the kind friend, a considerable person at court. He accepts to Billy Fusco. Here he spots and retrieves an abandoned boat and sails out to be rescued by a passing ship which safely takes him back home. So now let's talk about part 2, A Voyage to Brobdingnag, 20 June 1702 to 3 June 1706. Gulliver soon sets out again when the sailing ship Adventure is blown off course by storms and forced to sail for land in search of fresh water. Gulliver is abandoned by his companions and is left on a peninsula on the western coast of the North American continent. The grass that land is as tall as a tree. He is then found by a farmer who was about 72 feet tall, judging from Gulliver estimating a man's step being 10 years. He brings Gulliver home, and the farmer's daughter, Gloomdalclich, cares for Gulliver. The giant-sized farmer treats him as a curiosity and exhibits him for money. After a while, the constant shows make Gulliver sick, and the farmer sells him to the Queen of Rian, Glumdalclitch, who accompanied her father while exhibiting Gulliver, is taken into the Queen of Brobdingnagg's service to take care of the tiny man. Since Gulliver is too small to use their huge chairs, beds, knives, and forks, the Queen of Brobdingnag commissions a small house to be built for him so that he can be carried around in it. This is referred to as his travelling box. Between small adventures such as fighting giant wasps and being carried to the roof by a monkey, he discusses the state of Europe with the King of Brobdingnag. The king is not happy with Gulliver's accounts of Europe, especially upon learning of the use of guns and cannons. On a trip to the seaside, his travelling box is seized by a giant eagle, which drops Gulliver and his box into a sea where he is picked up by some sailors who return him to England. Now let's talk about part 3. A voyage to Laputa, Burnley Burby, Lugnag, Glubdubreeb, and Japan. 5 August 1706 to 16 April 1710. Setting out again, Gulliver's ship is attacked by pirates and he is marooned close to a desolate rocky island near India. He is rescued by the flying island of Laputa, a kingdom devoted to the arts of music, mathematics, and astronomy, but unable to use them for practical ends rather than use armies. Laputa has custom of throwing rocks down at rebellious cities on the ground. Gulliver tours Burnaby, the kingdom ruled from Laputa as the guest of low-ranking courtier, and sees the ruin brought about by the blind pursuit of science without practical results. In a satire of Burr in brew accuracy and on the Royal Society and his experiments at the Grand Academy of Lagado in Burnaby, great resources and manpower are employed on researching completely preposterous schemes such as extracting sunbeams from cucumbers, softening marble for use in pillows, learning how to mix paint by smell, and uncovering political conspiracies by examining the excrement of suspicious persons. Gulliver is then taken to Maldonada, the main port of Burnaby, to await a trader who can take him on to Japan. While waiting for a passage, Gulliver takes a short side trip to the island of Glubdubreeb, which is southwest of Burnaby. On Glubdubreeb, he visits a magician's dwelling and discusses history with the ghost of historical figures. The most obvious restatement of the ancient versus modern theme in the book. The ghost consists of Julius Caesar, Brutus, Homer, Aristotle, Rene Descartes, and Pierre Gassendi. On the island of Lugnac, he encounters the Struldbrugs people who are immortal. They do not have the gift of eternal youth, but suffer the infirmities of old age and are considered legally dead at the age of 80. After reaching Japan, Gulliver asks the emperor to excuse my performing the ceremony imposed upon my countrymen of trampling upon the crucifix, which the emperor does. Gulliver returns home, determined to stay there for the rest of his days. Now let's talk about the last part, part 4, the voyage to the land of Euonymus. 7 September 1710 to 5 December 1715. Despite his earlier intention of remaining at home, Gulliver returns to the sea as the captain of merchantman, as he is bored with his employment as a surgeon. On this voyage, he is forced to find new additions to his crew, whom he believes to have turned the rest of the crew against him. His crew then commits mutiny. After keeping him content for some time, they resolve to leave him on the first piece of land they came across and continue as pirates. He is abandoned in a landing boat and comes upon a race of hideous, deformed, and savage humanoid creatures to which he conceives a violent antipathy. Shortly afterwards, he meets a Houyhnhnms meets the Houyhnhnms, a race of talking horses. They are rulers, while the deformed creatures that resemble human beings are called Yahoos. Gulliver becomes a member of horses' household and comes to both admire and emulate the Houyhnhnms and their way of life, rejecting his fellow humans as merely Yahoos endowed with some semblance of reason which they only use to exacerbate and add the vicious nature gave them. However, an assembly of Houyhnhnms rules that Gulliver, a Yahoo with some semblance of reason, is a danger to their civilization and commands him to swim back to the land he came from. To the land he came from. Gulliver's master, the Houyhnhnm who took him into the household, buys him time to create a canoe to make his departure easier. After another disastrous voyage, he is rescued against his will by a Portuguese ship. He is disgusted to see that Captain Pedro de Mendes, whom he considers a Yahoo, is a wise, courteous, and generous person. He returns to his home in England, but he is unable to reconcile himself to living among Yahoos and become a rascal, remaining in his house largely avoiding his family and his wife, and spending several hours a day speaking with the horses in his stables. So I've completed Gulliver's Travels. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoy the video. Don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you, guys. Love you all. Take care. Bye. Over and out.